Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Michael here, Deeper States Mind and Wellness. How is everybody? I hope you guys are doing great tonight. I am excited to bring you something new that I actually had to experience the hard way, and that was creating emails or getting emails actually once we went remote. So I'm going to talk about that today. My name is Michael Almers. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a neurolinguistic programmer. I do have my practice, which is now virtual, which I love. Absolutely love being virtual, and I'll tell you guys a little more of that as we move forward. But anyway, my name is Michael Almers. Deeper States Mind and Wellness is my company, and I've been doing hypnotherapy and NLP and business and life coaching for the past 25 years. I'm going to open up the chat line so you guys are actually able to ask questions. Give me a second here, and I'll do that later on. I'll just put if you haven't watched me before and you haven't been able to ask questions before, sometimes you have to go to the web address down below. Just open up another tab, go to the web address down below, click on that. That'll allow Facebook to allow you to come in and to actually go on to my live and ask questions. Leave that running there, and then I'll go into the question side so I can actually see what people are putting questions and answers or questions and comments into the sidebar for me. For you, it'll be in the questions and comment sidebars that are on the bottom of your platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Yes, that's where we're broadcasting this morning. So I hope you guys had an excellent weekend. Hope you did something awesome for somebody else, and you had some awesome times to get things done. Because I'll tell you, it's sometimes, I know, as an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to find time for yourself and to even get a little laundry done. But it's so important to make sure that we have this equal balance, right? And that's what my weekend was an equal balance, getting everything done that I had done in my house for the past probably 6 months. So anyway, it's good to have everybody here. I see people are popping into YouTube, and I see one person's coming into Facebook. If you have questions, just ask the questions down below. We'll get to them before the end of the show, and then I'll do my best to get to them. Sometimes on YouTube, I get a lot of questions, and it's hard to answer all of them, but I will do my best for you guys. So if you are, and we've always been like this, I mean, getting emails is sometimes very difficult because if you're not actively out in the environment, right? If you're not out with brick and mortar or doing live events or speaking engagements, it's tough to be able to get an email list going. And there are CAM laws, right? There's laws against what you can do and what you can't do with your emails. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. It's so important that your email addresses are harvested or taken from a platform where you have been given permission in order for you to be able to use your email list and to market to them, right? Or even just to send them a newsletter, because if they didn't opt in for that newsletter and you're sending them newsletters and they're getting tired of it, they can report you as spam. And what happens is they report you as spam, you're going to start going into either the spam box all the time, or they can actually block you and ban you. Facebook does that, Instagram does that, YouTube does that. Google will do that to your main email account. So you got to be really, really careful, because if you get in there and you start bombarding people that have not wanted to listen to your emails, not wanting to listen to your podcast, not wanting to listen to anything that any voice that you're putting out there, right? They can block you completely, and they can even completely delete your account. And that's kind of scary because, those of you who own companies or who are entrepreneurs know how important it is to have a dedicated email like michael@deeperstate.com instead of just having, michael@gmail.com. It's just not professional. And the thing is, if you're sending stuff out on a business platform, Google understands that a little bit better than if you're trying to send out mass emails on your personal email page or your personal email, correct? So I want to talk a little bit about. I'm going to first give you a couple quick ways that that you can use to bring new email addresses into your platform, into your services, right? And I talked about this before. It's really important for you to have a CRM. If you have a CRM, it's going to help you get those emails out and be able to monitor your clients. And then it watches for people that are actually saying, I don't want to have this sent to me anymore. Then they unsubscribe. And if they unsubscribe, it's illegal to continue sending them information, because Google will step in. Google, I promise you, will block you. Especially if that person starts complaining that it's actually spam, then you're going to have a problem. So when I went off from my when I got rid of all my brick and mortars and we went completely 100% virtual, it became very difficult to be getting emails anymore. And I'll tell you that virtually emails are golden. If you have brick and mortar, it's not too hard to be able to. Especially now, we're opening up, everything's kind of going back to normal. Now, you just run an ad in like your local online newspaper, or you do Groupon, stuff like that. Then they come in and they can give you the brick and mortar, and at that point they can sign up for your email address. um, they have to be coming from legitimate places. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. You can buy email lists, but they are usually considered spam, and they will stop you. They will intervene, and especially if you're sending out bulk email. um, what I like to do, and what I first started doing, because once I closed everything out and I started working from home, everybody lost touch of how to connect with each other, how to be able to do the networking groups and all of that stuff. Now, a lot of these network groups like BNI, there's women's groups out there. There's a breakfast group I belonged to a long time ago that is still in operation. I don't have the time to do networking groups anymore. We're just kind of too busy for that. But for those of you who are entrepreneurs that are just starting out, it's real important, and those are avenues you can always go to. Now they have virtual online, so it makes it a little bit easier because you're at home. You just log in and you go on this giant Zoom call with 100, 150 people, and they're still not as big. I mean, if you go to the um, Better Business Bureau, I mean, they have events, and their events usually have 50 to 100 people. The thing is that you have to still network on top of that. Once you get into those groups and you start talking to people there, you still have to hand out either a tangible or electronic card, right? You're going to have to either have a actual business card. They do have new devices now that you have, either a bracelet that you can just tap, or you can just take your phone and you put this card on the back, tap on their phone, or you can also do a QR code that actually make the QR code, connect it to your account, upload it, and then what they do is they just take a picture of the QR code and it sends your information onto their phone. But that's still a live event, isn't it? You have to be there in order for that to happen. And right now, it's still tough. I mean, a lot of people sometimes don't want to be out. Some people have gotten lazy and are like, oh, you know what, I'm just not going to make it to networking group. And they rely on referrals. We're referral based more than anything. We're probably 97, 98% referral based right now, because we have been doing this. I've been doing hypnotherapy and NLP for 25 years. But when that happened to us, I want to kind of talk a little bit about what I found that was helping me. Was, first of all, I jumped on board with the Small Business Administration, and they have a department that actually assisted us with getting everything remote, because I had been remote for quite a while. But I was missing things. I was missing stuff like, how do I send a online booking link to get somebody to book a consultation, a strategy call, as opposed to having to like make a phone call every time to try to get them to contact, right? They have to fill out the email list. They have to fill out the information card, give me their email list. They have to be approved through the email system. Then I'd have to call them at that point to set up an appointment. It was just too much, and people won't do the extra effort. People were doing the extra effort before the pandemic. So before, these platforms like Calendly and all of these things that are out there to be able to use for scheduling have all this built in. And I'll tell you that online creators have been using these systems for a long, long time, way before I even knew about them. But with these calendar apps, the great thing is that you can just send a link to somebody, or you can actually do a live event where you're talking on Facebook or you're talking on Instagram, and just put the link in your bio on Instagram, or put your link on the Facebook page, which like we have here, which I've done here, where we've gotten people coming in and just doing a strategy call, a 30-minute strategy call for free, where I work with them and see whether or not I can assist them or not. Like I said, I've done this for a long, long time, and I highly recommend. With me doing this for so long, I can tell who I'm going to work with, who I'd like to work with, and who I believe I can be of service to, right? I don't just take clients. And that with the strategy call, it's important, because now I can see exactly what that individual is going through. What are the deep issues that are maybe connecting to that? So this person's a smoking client, wants to stop smoking, but they start smoking when their grandmother passed away. Well, we really need to go in and work with the emotional trauma of the grandmother passing away first, neutralize that out, and then begin to switch into the stop smoking pattern. But I wouldn't know that without having a strategy call. So I highly recommend that you just, whatever business you're in, just don't take clients, just take clients, because sometimes it becomes more of a hassle, right? It's just not worth it when you have a bigger clientele list. And don't be afraid to go out there, because I'll tell you that There's in relationships, right? They say there's somebody out there for everybody. In business, there's somebody out there for everybody, and there's plenty of people that are looking for your services. I believe that it's very energetic as to who you bring in and who you draw into your field or your circle. So when we went when we went ahead and shut down all our brick and mortars and went completely virtual, one of the biggest thing I found was to create online courses. So I was coming close to going into that period of time when we were doing the vision board. And that had always been, we went from live events of having 20 and 30 people in that class, renting hotel rooms, renting rooms in hotels, using banquet rooms, having everything set up, PAs, microphones, everything else. So when that happened, we were at a loss, right? We already had people actually booked into a class, and those people were waiting to see what we were going to do, as we did also. So we did a small class for online at the very beginning, and I think we had maybe 5 people out of 20, but people were waiting to see what was going to happen. So then what happened was, as it kept going on, we realized, okay, we're not going back. We're not going to go back to brick and mortar. So we created it to be an experience online. So then the people that had already had tickets, we invited them and letting them know that they could still get a refund back for their money. Most of them took it. Most of them came in and did the the virtual vision board with us and had a great time. I mean, and I think it's there's ways to create the vision board online so that you're constantly seeing it. Now it's on your phone, right? Electronic stuff is awesome when it works. All right. Um, so we created the online course and we built it together with a joint venture, which meant that I had somebody else come in who was going to talk, who was going to do a discussion. Um, and once they agreed to that, we interexchanged emails with the people that were coming to the course. All right. So that's how we got emails from that. That put them into our tire wheel. Now, what they had to do is we would send them the email with their ticket. They confirmed that they received that email. Now that authorized them to come into our email list. So what they call it an opt-in. You can do a double opt-in. And I would say do double opt-ins if you don't have, if it's a new client that you've never touched base with or that you don't know. Maybe they're coming in off of a live event. Maybe let's say that you went in, for me, let's give an example that I go in and I sell soaps and candles at a live event, especially right now. I have an iPad that they actually go in and they put their email address in. It's going to send them an opt-in. So that way they have to confirm that they've signed up. Because even if you've collected that email address at a live event, you still don't have permission to send it to them or to start sending them information because it comes out as being spam. They have to have a trademark or a trace mark showing that they opt into your email address. People go through this for a long, long time and not get caught. The problem with that is that if they don't do that, eventually Google's going to find you and they're going to remove your people. They're going to just remove your account sometimes and block you out. You start all over again. So if you're a small business owner, you're just starting, keep that in mind. You will screw yourself in the long run. And then, there's other ways once you get that email, how to market it, how to warm it, how to get it set up so that way it doesn't go into spam boxes. Another way we found out, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is to start doing joint ventures. Find companies out there that are in line with you. We have associations, and I haven't needed to do that, but mostly because you got to remember, the associations are going to sometimes not focus, they're not going to hone in on what it is that you're working on in that moment. They're going to take your email addresses and they're going to start spamming them with tons of other stuff. They're going to send them sometimes so much stuff that the client gets upset and is like, oh my God, I'm getting 2 and 3 emails from this company a day. What's going on? And that looks bad for you. But joint ventures work. If you get somebody who you've known for a long time, you trust, you like them, you care for them, it becomes a relationship where you are going in and you're doing a joint venture together, like let's say the vision board, and we haven't done this yet, where they're full venture, they're full joint venture partners. But let's say that we were able to get, I'll use an example here. So let's say that I would be able to get the Calm app to come in and do a talk on how to manage stress and how to lower your anxieties during, sleep time, during the time that you're trying to get down to sleep and go into the REM state. So we'd bring them in, they would send out those emails, we'd send out those emails. And then what would happen was the people that joined that were signing up, we would share those emails with each other. All right. It helps a lot. It builds your emails And the key, remember, is that you send them out something with your email address, with your content. So what happens is they opt into your email list. Um, so get them to come on board with you. Do podcasts. Volunteer to go in and be a guest on podcasts. A lot of times, podcasts are looking for people to speak. I'm a hypnotist. I'm a neurolinguistic programmer. What is hypnosis? How are you going to control me with hypnosis? Those are ideas or facts that people don't know, and there are people looking for guests all the time on their podcasts. Same thing, venture. It's a joint venture, JV. In a JV, you exchange exchange the emails with people that are already opting into to listen to that podcast, and it helps a lot. It really does, especially if you're kind of tied down right now and not knowing how to be able to bring in new emails. Social platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. And the reason I mentioned those is that they work really well. I'll remind all of you guys that are here that remember, Facebook is a pay to play program. It's a pay to play platform. So if you're not willing to buy advertising, you don't have the additional income or additional disposable income, right? It's going to cost you money, and it could be awesome. It could be an awesome gig. I mean, I remember we did our first funnel for weight loss, and it made close to 10 grand in 1 month. But the thing is that happening every time? Absolutely not. It just depends on what you're marketing. And we put in probably, I think it was like $800 or $900 worth of advertising. All right. So you have to really, really know what your budget is, and Facebook is a pay to play platform. The other ones are not. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Awesome places to network, awesome places to build your platform. Right now, TikTok is a very happening place. It has a lot of users, but it doesn't have the users that Facebook has, right? And they're not monetizing the way that Facebook is. They're learning to monetize. So it's easy to build a platform it's easy to get a lot of people to follow you. The thing is, you have to be a content creator. And I don't have the time for that. I wish I did. We're really focusing on Instagram and Facebook, mainly because we have presence there already. But if you don't have presence anywhere, my God, TikTok is the easiest way to start building on clients and to start bringing them in on board, because it'll grow very quick and very fast. All right. And I have notes because there's so much to this, and I want to make sure I give you true and vital information. I want to give you the reality of how things are. You can purchase email lists, and I saw a lot of people during the pandemic advertising this. Get 1,500 emails that are classified to be in your area, that will be, they're looking with your interests in mind. Thing is that it's you're still spamming. A lot of times what happens is these people didn't opt in to do this. They're harvesting these emails and then selling you an email list. So when you send out a broadcast, they call them broadcasts, some people call them I can't think of what they're called. They have another name for them, but we'll stick to broadcast because most of the platforms and CRMs call them broadcasts. So if you start sending broadcasts to these email lists and a lot of them start reporting you, they will block you as spam. You will have cold contacts at your disposal. The owners which are not interested in your products may be on that list. So you want to make sure that I personally I don't recommend buying a list. It just puts you in a really bad position, and it doesn't. If you have a brick and mortar and you're sending them a card to their mailbox, it's different. It's not tracked and monitored the way things are monitored and tracked online. You can send anybody a card, right? You just get an address, a physical address, and you send a card to them. But when you're dealing with email addresses, it's really important to make sure that they are email addresses that have been qualified, that they're looking for your information, or they even want to talk to you. And that they're interested in your product. I mean, we get people looking for our candles, our lotions, our wellness side of Deeper States Mind and Wellness, and they actually are looking for stuff. They come onto our Facebook page, go into our Instagram page, and then go into our website, or vice versa, right? Or sometimes just one lead contact. So they go into Instagram, go into our website, purchase something. Now, because they purchased something, they've authorized us to put them onto our list. It's important to actually send the campaign to purchase the addresses since the mailing service will immediately block such an attempt. And remember that. So when you purchase something, you're probably going to lose your money at some point. Maybe take it might take a month, but you're going to lose your income. You're going to lose what your investment is on that because they will catch you. They're going to find you, especially now that the internet has become so easy to track everything with cookies, right? I mean, they cookie your machine, and they can follow what it is that's going on with those emails and whether or not you wanted those emails. And then the minute you spam them on Google, on your Gmail, boom, that's it. It red flags you once, and if that continues to happen, that's when you end up with problems. Um, and they'll put you on a blacklist. Okay, a blacklist is what you just have a bad reputation. Um, and once you're on that blacklist, it's extremely difficult to get off the blacklist. You'll get stuck, and your emails just to friends won't even go out anymore. If you're using your business email, michael@deeperstate.com, it'll get stuck. It won't go anywhere. They'll ban you from everything. It's a nightmare. Um, and not only do you lose, you're not only going to just lose your precious money, and you're also going to lose your time. I mean, it could have been invested differently. It truly could have been a targeted content or contact if you would have just gone in and spent a little more time, really legitimately finding out where these people are coming from. I want to talk about how you can actually get people to come on board through social media and platforms that are legit, right? So use custom email opt-in pop-ups. So if you have a website like WordPress, you can create your website so it has there's a plugin that'll pop up a platform, right? The pop-up is going to bring them in and have them opt in for something. A lot of times what happens with that, it's really effective, but you have to give something. And that's one thing we've learned. We've learned through really Facebook more than anything, is that people want to be given something for their email address. It doesn't have to be something huge, but they want something, whether that's a 20 bullet point checklist, 10 bullet point checklist, a white sheet about how to lose weight using fasting, a white list about how to market on Facebook, an easy way to market on Facebook with low cost ads. Something like that is going to get them to say, oh, really, I want that. I'd love to know more about that. And then they'll put the information in the pop-up. They'll read the page, right? And it'll have a form at the top or the bottom that they can fill out. And if they don't fill it out and they start to navigate away from it, the platform you're using, whatever you're using, whether it's the plugin that you're using or you're using it on Facebook, and you created a landing page. We'll talk more about landing pages as we go on in one of our different business classes. But so the pop-up pops up and it'll say, before you leave, get our free download. And then you give them their first name and email address. Usually that's all you really need, because you're building their trust with you by giving them that product. There's something called the Lightbox pop-ups. You guys can Google that. Some of those are free. I've not used them. We have everything built into our own enterprise system. So if you're giving them a tempting offer, a profitable discount, then it's simple to get them to come in. It's impossible for them to not take your offer, right? Especially if it's a discount. So let's say that you're doing, if you learn about hypnosis and you click here and you bring them in and say, by giving us your email address and your contact information, you're going to receive one free session of hypnosis or one free strategy call with Deeper States Mind and Wellness, which is normally $85 for just the strategy call. So that gets them to want that, right? So then it's just easy to give the email address. And it's something they want. It's something they've looked, they're interested in. So once you do the incentive in exchange for the email address, now you've built you're starting to build a connection, right? An advancement with friendship and advancement. They're starting to learn who you are. So it's just like meeting a new person. You may not want to give that person your email address the very first time. You might not want to give them your phone number the very first time. Maybe you want to date a couple times before you actually get their phone number. Well, online marketing is no different. The incentive for the email is something that is a beginning thing. So if I come to your home and I bring you a beautiful gift, or let's say that we meet in a marketing group, right? And I bring you a beautiful gift, that's going to be the first thing that's going to make you remember me. Second thing, maybe I give you an article telling you about how that candle was made in a couple of weeks, and how we use 100% soy, because it's not it's not harmful to the environment, and how we don't use lead wicks, we use 100% cotton wicks. And that's one article that's going to give you, oh my gosh, that's really cool. I love that, especially for an environmentalist, right? So you want to build that trust and start bringing that in, so that way these gifts will help bring people in even a little closer to you. Everybody loves a gift, right? Everybody loves a gift. Um, and it makes them trust you more. Remember, this is somebody you met online. You don't really have a background with them, but you're learning about them. Something broke, something created that curiosity within you. um, Free videos are awesome. Record videos that are instructional videos, or something that gives them a little bit about fasting. What is that first month of fasting like? How's it going to be? Are you prepared for this? And give them tips. Give of yourself in these lead magnets. They call them lead magnets. Give of yourself in the lead magnet. So what happens is that way they are building a relationship with you. They may not see you physically, right? But they know of you, and they're building this relationship that's building upon building upon. So as that goes on, you're going to be able to give them that link. They'll click on the link, they'll go watch the video. But before they watch the video, they have to give your email address, and they have to give you their information. Then they'll get to watch the video. Then they've opted in. That's given you permission to be able to go ahead and start giving them emails. People say, well, how much email should you send somebody? How much is it? When does it not become spam? Well, it's interesting because, and I'm going to go a little bit into politics, but when the Obama campaign started using online marketing through Facebook and Instagram, they found out that, well, if we bombard people with emails, what is too much, right? And they found out that 1 or 2 emails a day is actually not that bad. What happens is that people will see the email, and they're not going to delete you. They're just not going to open it. But when you have a title, right? Your hook is your title. So if you have a title that just draws somebody's attention, they're like, oh my gosh, I got to know about this, right? Producing 100% soap that's now natural and healthy for the body. Or a hook, right? A lead hook saying something like, did you know that the store-bought soap has over 1,000 chemicals? That's an article I want to read. So they'll click on that, open it, and read it. Now, they may be getting information from you 2 times a day that they're not interested, but those ones that they read something like that, the header comes in, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I need to know more about this. Um, and then they'll go ahead and they'll continue reading. They may purchase soap from us at that point, because now they're like, oh my gosh, I really got to try this. I remember I signed up for this and I got the free download that talked about why natural soap was important. But now they're making a soap that has 0 chemicals in it. I really need to know more about that. Offer them a content upgrade. So I'll talk a little bit about that. I don't want to get too deep in that, because if you haven't created a course, right, we're kind of stuck. You're not going to be able to do this one. But if you have a mini course, let's say that is 3 days teaching people how to fast. All right. So what you do is you give them that 3-day course, maybe at free, or maybe a 1-day course that's free, talking about how it's a 6-hour course, free 1 day, talking about how to go into a fasting process and how to manage it and what it's going to feel like. Right. So they'll log into that. Then what you can do is you can follow through with that, and then give them a following email in the next 1 or 2 days that's offering the full program at a discounted price. That'll put them into the funnel, and then they'll process their way through that, and eventually they'll end up buying if it's a value to them. It's something they're looking for, right? I mean, so somebody who doesn't really need to release any weight is probably not going to follow that. But a person that is looking to maintain their weight will follow the other lead magnet, or the other funnel that you created, called How to Maintain Your Ideal Weight for the Rest of Your Life. That person's going to be looking for that and enjoying that lead funnel, that marketing funnel that's going to follow through with them. Collect email addresses on your social media. We talked a little bit about that. Make sure that your social media platforms are always collecting email. When somebody wants to send you a message, it's better to send them a link to connect to you through a different manner other than the platform. I know that they don't, and I'll tell you, social media does not want people to leave their page. That's a whole process of advertising, is that you keep them involved in the page as long as you can. But I find it better to get them off that platform and bring them into my own lead magnet or bring them into what we call a landing page. So they can go through the landing page, they can get a little bit of information. Then if they want the free download, they click on that, give you the email address and everything else. Now they're going into the funnel. So now they're going to the email randoms that are being sent out. They're not randoms, they're specific to that client's needs, but those emails will be coming out usually sometimes 1 to 2, 3 days after they initially opened up that first email. Everything's automated, guys. Everything is through a CRM. So automation is really, really important, especially when you're completely virtual. 100% automation is very, very crucial. So, of course, these are far from all the methods of being able to obtain electronic data. Some people scrape Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, I'm sorry. Some people will go in and they'll have their company scrape LinkedIn. You're already a LinkedIn member. So the thing is with LinkedIn, it's different, right? Because now you're looking business to business. Mostly that's what it's created for. And a lot of times they don't look down on that because it is created for that. And that it's an expectation that you're going to get information from people. Remember your customer base. Keep this in mind. Keep your customer base clean and clear. So if you have people on your customer base, on your email base that are not ever opening your emails, and it's been 6 months and they've not opened an email, get rid of them, because otherwise, it does look, the bots notice that that's not being opened and they notice that it's not of interest to them and you continue to email them. So get rid of them. You remember, somebody who doesn't buy your product today doesn't mean that there's not going to be somebody else who'll buy your product tomorrow. Another big thing is remember that you've collected all these emails all your life, right? We've had emails for the last 25 years. We didn't do anything with them until lately. We've been working on trying to warm up our email list and get people more involved with us. But your email list is gold, right? Those emails are golden because they've had that, not with me, they've had the one-on-one contact, they've had the intermixing with me, they've learned who I am, they've understood who I am, and we're going to go long on this podcast, on this live, and I'm okay with that. We're going to go a little bit long. Those of you who want to stay are welcome to stay. If you find this interesting, again, like I said, share it out with your friends, get people to come on board and watch this. Let's try to build a following with this. And I believe this podcast is going to be going to 3 p.m. in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time soon, so I will let you know more about that. And again, if you guys want to know more about what's happening with Deeper States Mind and Wellness, DM me with your email address and we'll send you a opt-in form and you can join our email group and we will send you information much more relevant than me being online and not knowing when something's going to change, right? We'll know when it's going to change when we send out email. Keep the hygiene of your list clean. So remember, when people are asking to be removed off your email list, remove them. There's email checkers that you can use that'll go in and they'll actually check the email, make sure it's valid, make sure, some people have gone, some people have died, some people have changed their email address and it's going into a bounce list anyway. So clean them up, get rid of them. Remember, you want real contacts that can make your business profitable. You don't want to just have people that are on your email list and not going anywhere because that's not good. It will affect you long term. If there's any questions, go ahead and start putting them into the questionnaire box. I will answer what I can with you guys. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up a little bit because we're already going 5 minutes over. Have a great week, my entrepreneurs. Go out there, kick some ass. And, if you have any questions, you're having trouble building your email list, you're having trouble going out and just kind of any business question, I will give you my advice. I will help you as much as I can. Know that I am not the expert in everything. And I hope that nobody ever becomes the expert in everything, because once you're done learning, you're probably dead. So it's really important to always continue learning and knowing and understanding that, you won't ever know everything. You'll never know everything. And that's the best thing about life, is that we're always learning on a daily basis. So if you have any questions, start putting them into the DMs, that way into the direct messages, or into the chat, I guess, on these, right? So put it into the chat. I will address them. And then otherwise I'll start to wrap this up and you guys can have a awesome week. Go out there, make a killing, make a living, help somebody, but more importantly, change somebody's life with what you have to offer. Because we all have something to offer. We all have things that we carry with us, knowledge, information, learning experiences. Everybody's life has been a path that they've gone down on their own trials and tribulations. So I always say there's a book in every single one of you guys. You just have to go in there and look at your life and say, wow, what was important? What did I do different? What was a change? What did I give back to society? What worked, right? What didn't work? I mean, even I as an entrepreneur still want to know what didn't work for you guys as big business owners. Corporates, when you go and you talk to a corporate, that company has an understanding of what worked for them and didn't work for them, my God, if I could sit on the board of the marketing department for Coca-Cola or a Pepsi company and go in and find out what happened, what changed their life, what did they find happen, what were their trials, what were their tribulations. I think that would give me so much information on marketing, and it's still. I'd love to sit down right now with with any of those marketers from those big companies to just only online marketing, maybe a 7-day course on online marketing and what they're doing and how they're reaching people and helping them. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap this up. I don't see any questions coming in here. Most of my people that watch this are on the replay, and that's why we are changing the time. Is that it's kind of tough for some people. By 9:30 in the morning, brick and mortars are already in their offices working. I'm not about to wake up at 6 in the morning, which is what the old networking groups used to be. You'd get up at 6 a.m., you'd go to your networking group that started at 7, you'd be in your office by 9 a.m. Not in my interest anymore, but it works, guys. It works. So anyway, have a great day. Take care. And like I said, go out there this week and just crush it, kill it, make it happen for you and for your teams, and treat everybody well. All right. Thank you so much. And we'll talk soon. Bye now.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.